For a month, I've been working with Lori on her YouTube channel, and she's been improving steadily. But 3 days ago, she posted a video that hit me hard. It hit me differently. Not because of its views, it didn't go viral or anything like that, but because I remembered every single detail of it. The way she described the smell in the hospital, the way her voice wavered, the emotion in her eyes, it gave me goosebumps. That video made me cry and smile at the same time, in the same breath. And here's the thing, I didn't just watch it, I felt it. It breathed through me. And that is the power of storytelling. And if you want to stand out on this crowded and loud, busy, noisy platform of YouTube, you need to connect with your viewers deeply and increase your retention by doing so. Storytelling is your golden ticket to YouTube growth. And I will show you how to hone that skill in today's video. Okay, first I want to start with a simple but powerful distinction. Content is what you know. It's your tips, your strategies, your theories. It's intellectual value. Story is how you make people feel. It's the context, the humanity, the emotion behind the lesson. Lisa Nichols, who I love for learning about storytelling, says it perfectly. Great creators balance both. They deliver knowledge, but they also touch with the heart with their stories. So if you only give content, people might learn something, but they won't necessarily remember you. If you tell stories, people might feel inspired, but without the content, they might not take action and not get the results that you are trying to help them get. The magic happens when you build both into your content. You have content and story together. So why is storytelling such a game changer? Storytelling does 4 things for your channel, your brand, or your content. And that is this. Number 1, it creates retention, which is king on YouTube, right? We want to keep people on the platform. We want to keep people in our videos. When you tell a story, the human brain wants to find out what happens next. And that keeps the viewers watching longer. Number 2, it creates connection. People connect with you as a person, not just your tips or your guidance. Number 3, it creates memorability. As Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. It is so true. And number 4, differentiation. In a world of sameness, blandness, copy and paste everywhere, running rampant, your story is the one thing that no one else could ever copy from you. And one of the most powerful storytelling tools I've learned from Lisa Nichols is what she calls the valley technique. It has 3 parts: the big U, the valley, and your purpose or commitment. So the big U is where you establish who you are and why people should listen to you. The valley is where you share a low moment, vividly and with vulnerability. And the third part is your purpose, the top of the valley, your purpose or your commitment. So you show how that moment in the valley transformed you and made you into what you are today and why you have this particular purpose or commitment in your life. This works because it makes people invested emotionally with you. They see your journey, the progression through. It's not just the highlight reel at the end of your journey, right? So if we go back to Lori's example, with Lori's hospital story, her big U is Lori is a content creator that guides people through midlife and helping them to reconnect with who they truly are. Her valley is she has shared her gut-wrenching story of having to give up her baby girl for adoption at 16 and how it broke her heart like nothing she'd ever felt before, and how it became a defining moment in her life, a turning point, if you will. And so that's the valley. And then her purpose is that loss gave her a profound empathy for anyone facing their own darkest moments. And it fuels her mission to help others rediscover themselves no matter what they've been through or what they've seen in life. So she has the big U, her valley, and her purpose as a result. And her video didn't just get views. It built trust. It built loyalty. Her vulnerability in that video allows others to be vulnerable with her. It also created authority, credibility for why she does what she does. And it makes you want to learn from her, to follow her channel, to gain valuable nuggets of wisdom from her. And that sets her apart from someone else who doesn't have that exact story in their life. So consider how you can weave a valley moment into your videos, those raw human turning points that pull people in. And when it comes to storytelling, here are a few do's and don'ts that I recommend that make all the difference. So do's, start with a hook, start with something that creates curiosity and emotion instantly. Do use sensory details, enough to immerse people but not to overwhelm them. Too much details will bore people. You just need enough to get them into feeling the story. Another do is to tap into the universal emotions like joy, fear, loss, struggle, triumph, love. All of those emotions are universal and people understand them. So infuse those into your story. Another do is to vary your information and pacing to match the moment. So if you're excited, you're talking all excited. If you're serious, you're slowing your pace and you're really focusing on the words you're using. So another do is show vulnerability. Let people see the cracks, the fears, the failures. That's where they connect with you because they know they're not perfect. And by seeing you show up with your imperfections, it allows them to feel more comfortable with themselves and with you. And another do is always anchor the story to the lesson you're teaching. So if you're teaching something, the story must reflect that teaching in some way. Otherwise, the story is pointless or the content is pointless. They don't go together. They are not cohesive, and you want them to be cohesive. Okay, a few don'ts for you. Like I said earlier with the do's, explain, but don't over-explain. So don't over-explain and avoid a 10-minute backstory before you get to the point. Don't tell your story flat. Monotone delivery kills even the best stories. And I'll talk more about this flatness later on in the video on how to avoid it. Another don't is don't drown in irrelevant details that don't serve the emotion or the lesson you're trying to teach. Another don't leave your audience without a resolution. Tie it back to the value. So they need to get something out of this process. Out of you're telling the story, there needs to be a golden nugget of wisdom that they can take with them, and maybe it encourages them to take action, to think about things differently, whatever it is, but they must learn something from your story. Now, I want to show you exactly what I meant by the flat storytelling versus vivid storytelling, because once you feel the difference, you'll never go back to telling flat stories or just telling facts. So I'll use my own story from my own life as an example for you. So here's a flat version. I checked my email, I had a message from HR, and I was laid off. That's the truth, but it doesn't give you anything to feel. Now here's the vivid version. I opened my email that morning expecting to see my new contract for the semester since it seemed to have been delayed. But instead, there was a message from HR with no attachment. It started with a thank you for my decades of service, a line about how I was highly valued, and then the words I read next made my heart sink. They would not be continuing my contract this semester or indefinitely. It felt like someone had kicked me in the gut and knocked the wind out of me. For 13 years, I poured everything into my students, creating courses, shaping young designers, living and breathing architecture. It wasn't just my job, it was my identity, my passion, and one cold email, it was all gone. Delivered as casually as if we were talking about the weather. My mind spun into crazy places. Our family, our three girls, the bills, how, what now? I couldn't believe this was happening to me. So, do you feel the difference between those two stories? I got an email, I got laid off, the end. Or this more expansive version where there's emotion, there's feeling, there's expression. So, it's the same events, it's the same facts, but one version simply informs you of the facts, while the other one makes you feel in your body something, somewhere, right? That's the magic of adding emotions, details, and a sense of stakes that you're experiencing with your story. So Lisa Nichols also teaches a few advanced techniques that I want to share with you as well. She says to sprinkle in your message. So every story should carry the core point of what you're trying to teach the people and what you want them to remember. So don't tell stories just for story's sake, unless your channel, of course, is about storytelling. And another thing she says is to add a dash of character. So she wants you to let your quirks shine. Your humor, your pauses, and your personality should come through on your videos when you tell your stories. And another tip that she gives is mix in the essence. Speak from authenticity and love. And that's what sticks with people. When you speak from your heart, they can see it. They can see the true you. They can see your light and they can connect with that. And the last tip that I'll share from Lisa Nichols is story as transformation. Your story isn't just for inspiration. It can transform how people see you and themselves through your story. It can transform their lives as well. So, how do you hone the skills of storytelling? Well, here's how you get better at it. Study the masters. I like Lisa Nichols, there's Donald Miller, Nancy Duarte, Pixar's 22 Rules. Find something that you resonate with. And then practice micro stories daily. So share one 60-second story in conversation or online or with your children before they go to bed at night. Tell them a story. But practice telling stories. The only way to hone your craft is to practice. And another way to do this, to practice, is to actually record yourself telling a story and then listen to it back and tweak your pacing, your tone, and your expression within those stories. Plan emotional beats into your stories as well. This is a great way to practice making storytelling more impactful. When you create scripts or bullet points for your videos, mark where you want your audience to feel like suspense or empathy or relief. So if you mark it in your script or your outline, then it will remind you while you're recording your videos to insert that type of emotional beat into your rhythm of your story. Another thing that's really important to hone this skill of storytelling is to balance content and story, which I've talked about already, but you want to lead with one and support with the other. So either lead with the story and then support with content, like I did at the beginning of this video. My hook was a story about my client, and then I went into the content, right? Or lead with the content and then support with a story, like where I said, flat storytelling versus vivid storytelling, and then I gave you my story example of showing that. That is content first, then story second. But you want to find a good balance so that your video on YouTube flows really well and that people can learn something from it while also feeling intensely connected to you and your story. So hopefully you're seeing why it's worth mastering storytelling on YouTube. When my clients nail storytelling, everything clicks and everything changes for the positive on their channel. Things start improving: views, comments, engagement, AVD, etc. When my client Matt of Silverpunk started infusing stories into his content, his engagement, AVD, and sales of his art even increased on his channel. When Ace, with a walking channel, started sharing more personal stories about why he cares so passionately about health and fitness, his comments increased dramatically. His engagement went through the roof, and as well as his views and subscribers. When Kai, with a finance channel, started adding in more vlogging type content, he saw similar results as the others. I have example after example after example of how it transforms your channel and its growth just by infusing better storytelling into your content. Because storytelling isn't just a nice to have, it's the ultimate competitive advantage on YouTube. Otherwise, we could just learn everything from AI, right? Facts make you replaceable. That's AI. Your story makes you irreplaceable. AI could never do what you do and could never do what you've done and can't experience life like you can. So, in your next video, don't just tell your viewers what to do. Take them on a journey. Show them the moment that you learned that lesson and how it made you feel and how it transformed you. Let them feel what you felt. Because when they feel something, they'll remember you forever and they will come back to your channel time and time again for more teachings from you. And if you want direct help with your channel, I offer mentoring and can help you with all of these skills and strategies you need to learn in order to start, grow, and build a successful YouTube channel. There's a link in the description below to how to get in contact with me. I would love and be honored to work with you. However, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.